What's up, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today we are going to be getting into episode 8. Now, I did just want to reiterate because I did get a few comments um, asking me why I was reacting to it when I've already seen it. So once again, guys, I actually went and saw the screening in LA, an early screening on the 22nd. I saw Act 3 ahead of time. So yes, this is not my initial reaction. These are my initial rewatches. So I haven't seen episode 8 since the 22nd. I purposely wanted to put a little gap in between the time from when I watched it back on the 22nd till now, just so I could kind of let my mind reset a little bit so it still kind of feels like a first watch, because it's different watching it alone in the comfort of your house where you can really lock in and tune in, as opposed to being in a theater that is just charged with emotion, crazy emotion. So yeah, I just wanted to put that disclaimer out there. Yes, I know the video says Aisha reacts. This is not my first initial reaction. This is my first initial rewatch. So I hope that clears everything up for you guys. I have not seen episode 8 since the first time I saw it back on the 22nd. So I mean, obviously I remember that cape I seen. It's all people have been talking about, especially on Twitter. But there's a lot of things that I feel could have went over my head, and there's a lot of dialogue that I missed out on over myself screaming as well, but just from, the crowd and everything else. So I'm gonna go into this episode, guys. I'm never gonna pretend like I've never seen anything. So if episode 7 gave that, I apologize. That was never the case. I try to be very vocal and honest with you guys on the channel. I made a community note about it as well before I even left for LA. So yeah, I wanted to clear that up for you guys. So moving forward, you guys know I've seen Act 3 already. These are my first initial rewatches. So guys, with that being said, we are going to get into episode 8. I don't even know how much of that scene I can upload onto YouTube, but I don't know. I'll work my way around it. So I am very excited to get back into this. I'm not gonna lie, a part of me, I didn't really want to rewatch 8 and 9. Like, I was just really happy with episode 7 because it was the happiest I've ever been. And it's not because I didn't like the ending of Arcane, guys. Because there's also been a lot of drama over, especially on Twitter. I'd say Reddit and Twitter for sure. It's been a lot of drama concerning the end of the season, and well, I think it's fair for anybody to have criticism. I don't think coming at the writers over like what you hated about the ending is the appropriate thing to do. But I mean, we can get into that conversation at the end. There are some things that I wish we would have seen, some characters I wish we would have seen interact, especially, with this being the final season with these characters. But guys, this was still an amazing show. It was still an amazing send-off. And yeah, with that being said, we are going to get into this episode, and we are going to save the discussion, the discourse till the end. So let's get into it. And let's get it. Whew. So are like those gold pieces, that's like ingrained on her skin, like it is a part of her, it's something she cannot take off.
Truce is the greatest delusion of them all.
I think beneath that mask you're scared. I can see through your tricks. That makes me a threat.
For the gifted, arrogance is the ultimate threat. Your power has merit. Fate is approaching, rivaling even the ancient rune wars. Ambassa sits at the helm, blinded by her thirst for legacy. Our efforts to divert her.
It's always
course are
legacy.
founded. The world is a perilous place for a solitary mage. Sister.
Oh, what a time to be alive. What a time to be a Mel girly. Turn that man into some sushi. Turn that man into a Noxus roll.
That I couldn't save him. His injuries were too severe.
We do not lament a warrior's death. We avenge it.
Doctor, your ingenuity deserves praise.
Victor.
I am
Grateful. The world I now see
is more lucid.
I will evolve all those willing.
Yeah, Sky's like, I'm not with this. Oh, poor.
It's only 3 dots to patch you up.
Loris?
Wasn't sure you'd pull through. Caitlin wanted to be here to tell you herself.
Loris. Spit it out. Arrested?
I can handle this, Maddie. Check on my father.
She holding on to dreams and aspirations with that hair.
How long were you sidled up with that shifty, self-serving war pig? She oinked poison in your ear and you just ate it.
She said oinked poison. She oinked poison in your ear.
The only thing Jinx cared about was getting you to safety. Then she just surrendered. We can't erase our mistakes.
What about yours?
Who decides who gets a second chance?
Right. I will say one of the things I was like, I at least have to see Jinx with her hair down, and they frickin' delivered. Like, I knew it was long, but my god.
There won't be a trial. I'm giving you this one chance to account for your actions. All the pain you've caused.
What about your actions?
No amount of good deeds can undo our crimes.
I didn't know your mom was there. It probably wouldn't have made a difference, but I didn't know.
I'm not gonna lie, as someone who like loves Jinx, it was really hard seeing her this act, man. I like how they put the council table back together. It's really cool.
Why just me? Why not save all of them?
She just told you she...
It wasn't a decision.
Right.
One moment you're addressing the council and the next we're standing in rubble. I didn't have any greater awareness.
How can I know you aren't lying to me?
Why would you think I am?
Because you used me
Okay.
and Victor for Hextech.
You know what? I understand where he's coming from after everything he's seen, after everything he's gone through being in the X-Core or whatever, the alternate universe. But the thing that pissed me off about this, and I'm not like, I love Mel, yes, but I will say she did manipulate this man in season 1. I do think it turned to genuine care for him, but I'm not going to sit here and cap and be like, she didn't manipulate him. She manipulated him. Right? But I feel like there's never like accountability with Jayce, where it's like in season 1, he was constantly having his views, his thoughts shaped by others around him. And then, mind you, as much as I kind of butted heads with Heimerdinger because of his inaction and because he was so hesitant to get stuff off the ground. Multiple times, Heimerdinger told this man, like, I've seen worlds destroyed because of this thing. Y'all need to shut this down. And he was persistent. He was like, I'm gonna do it anyways, nah. Which is like, pop off, I get it, but I don't know, this whole like victim mindset where it's like, you use me, this is your fault. Like, people warned you. People told you to ease up. You were stubborn. You messed around and now you're finding out. So it's like, be calm. Because it kind of pissed me off. That's all I'm going to say about that. It's like, I don't have no beef with Jayce, but it's like, sir, reel it in. Because this is just as much your fault.
How did you get in here?
You once benefited from my knowledge of this place.
That was a long time ago.
Had you given me the chance, I would have shown you the merits of my work. This chain of events started with you.
I genuinely don't understand how Victor thinks he's helping people.
This, but I now understand.
Come on, Mel. Stuff is so weird, bro. I don't understand how he thinks he's helping people. I really don't.
A spark of rebellion still burns inside that husk, I see. No. Killing is a cycle. One that started long before Vanda and me, and that will continue long after the two of you.
I'm done running in circles. What are you doing?
I swiped these from the guard station. If you come, help use all that explosive potential of yours for good, maybe we could rewrite your story like you did with Zaun.
You're never gonna give up on me, are you?
Girl, no. That's what family's for.
You don't have to worry about me anymore. You don't need to feel guilty about being happy. You deserve to be with her.
Wait.
Okay, but like, you deserve to be happy too.
No good version of me.
What are you gonna do?
Break the cycle.
Guess I should crack these arcane tissues open, huh?
I'm no more than a passenger. A life I spent in self-pity. Now it's gone. I can never return to it.
This felt like a mutual breakup, low-key.
You will never be a passenger. A storm is coming. The likes of which Piltover, perhaps Runeterra itself, has never faced. This creature infiltrated the very room you're standing in. And we barely survived. Now this isn't a fair request, but it is our only hope. The forces against us are too great. We need every hand we can get.
Can you imagine the resentment like Zaunites must feel for this? I'm like more emotional like
We're abandoning the city's
second time
outskirts to
around.
stage our defense at the Hex Gates. The final bastion of our salvation.
I understand the resentment. Because you've been neglecting these people and all of a sudden now there's an us and it's like I'm gonna be crying this entire episode.
Had a feeling I might find you here.
I was like, I want to revel in these emotions, guys. I'm not ready for this scene right now.
Sorry to say, you've grown a bit predictable.
Bet you didn't see this coming. Can someone please tell me the significance of those? Is it to like ward off Magic?
You're alive. Your brother was struck with curiosity. He got caught in their web and with every action grew more deeply entangled.
So you let him die? Piltover has nothing to do with your feud. Board your boats. Leave our shores. I will join you. We can avenge Kino together.
That would have been her best possible option.
I've found another way. An army that need never fear death.
To girl, that is not it.
What have you done, Mother?
Wait, did they just show us right there that there were two separate husks?
I will miss our talks.
She was like, girl, stop.
No. You won't.
The fact that he did this to all these people and he was able to get a happy ending, Cinch pisses me off. Bro, how did we get here? Like, how do you genuinely think you're helping somebody by doing this? I will say, like, the face splitting was terrifying. Horrifying, even. Ugh. We're gonna talk about it. Because I have questions and I know you guys have answers. If I'm being honest, Victor's arc confuses me a lot. Because I'm not saying that I don't enjoy it or that I don't think it was written well. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I just don't understand how we got from point A to point B. You left to heal people, to help others. I understand that. I admire that. But you turning people into shells of themselves where the essence of who they were just doesn't exist anymore. And now we're here? Like, and you guys know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I don't understand how that works. So please, somebody, if you can grasp the concept of Victor's arc and his motivations, please help me, because this was one of the things that I was kind of like, what? And then, like, as I mentioned earlier about Jayce, I stand in this weird space with Jayce because I know it's like really popular to hate him. Like, a lot of people hop on like the Jayce hate train, and I've seen some like funny reasons for it where they're just like, why not? But I never really hated Jayce. I mean, I had issues with this character, but I feel like, and I touched briefly on this while watching the episode, but I feel like in season 1, everybody was able to shape his ideas. Everybody was able to shape his opinions. And he'll go to somebody and they'll shape his opinions and he'll be like, okay, that's what I'm going to do. And then he'll do it. And when it doesn't turn out, he's like, this is your fault. Let's take some accountability. Because you and Victor sat up here and created Hextech and created this. And mind you, I understand, Victor's desperation at the time with his illness and not wanting to die. I mean, let's be real. Nobody, for the most part, wants to die. And if you were facing death and in the back of your mind, there was like, oh, this is an option where I could avoid or I could prolong my life, I'm sure you'd consider it. I'm sure you'd consider taking that opportunity. But it's just, I feel like Jayce just kept pushing for Hextech, and I understand, but it's just like, Heim told you, this man has been around for 300 plus years. He told you, like, I've seen worlds destroyed because of what you guys are doing. I've seen it. I've been around to experience it. This is exactly what it looked like. I'm telling you right now, this is not the way. Like, mind you, I had an issue with Heim as well. His inaction. No one in the show is without some kind of blame. But the fact that you were told and you were given warning after warning after warning Like, yo, this path, this is not it. I'm telling you right now, I've seen how this plays out. This is not it. And then once you're like, oh, I'm faced with the consequences of my actions, now it's like, this is your fault because you manipulated me and you told me this was an investment. And it was like, sir, the risks were presented to you and you were like, that's cool and all, but I'm going to continue to pursue this. And now we're seeing those very risks that were presented to you. Now we're seeing the impact and we're seeing the blowback of that and all this collateral. And now all of a sudden, you know, I don't know. It's just, it's a bit frustrating. And then the whole discourse surrounding Piltover going to Zaun and being like, we're going to need you guys to suit up. We're going to need every man possible, as many people as we can get. I will say without a doubt that I am 100%, I 100% stand behind the people of Zaun. 100%. It's just, I feel like it's so crummy of Piltover. And mind you, like, I don't want to be aloof and not acknowledge that, you know, if Zaun was just like, you know what, this is not our war to fight. We did not create Hextech. This is y'all. Y'all can handle it. If Piltover was to get washed without Zaun's help, it was only a matter of time before Victor and his cult would come after Zaun as well. So I understand why they would need Zaun to reluctantly team up with them to defeat this greater threat. But it's just, it sucks. I feel like it's so unfair for the people of Zaun who have been just neglected and just beaten down by Piltover for years, for generations. They gained so much of my respect. For them to eventually in the end set aside all of that bad history and be like, you know what? We're gonna be the bigger person and we're gonna help fight this war that you guys created. Hats off to Zaun. Hats off to Zaun. It's not fair, but they stepped up. And I feel like that's what makes it all the more emotional for me, at least. I know like this was another one of those things that I saw a lot of people not too happy about. And I mean, it's it's hard because a lot of people they're like, oh, we don't want to get too political about it. We don't want to have these super political or uncomfortable conversations surrounding this stuff. But I'm like, this is a political show at the end of the day. And I always find hearing different takes from different people from different walks of life very, very interesting. Especially concerning this Zaun and Piltover conflict. Because I've heard some people equate it to just like, oh, it's just a show, guys, at the end of the day. And it's like, well, yes, but there are things that some people are just ignorant to because you've never had to experience that. That's not your life experience at the end of the day. And so I see people give takes online. Some of them are egregious, but some of them I'm just kind of like, you know what? I can't invalidate your take. I resonate with your life experience, with me as a Black woman in America, being a part of a group that has been systematically oppressed for generations. And me personally, I hate talking politics. I am not a politics girly. But art imitates life, and the show is very political. And I say all of this to say I've seen a lot of very political takes concerning the Zaun and Piltover conflict. A lot of people upset about Zaun having to be the ones to kind of pretty much suck it up, be the big person, and help out in the end, and how it's not fair. And I feel that, and I understand that, and I've seen a lot of people counter that, and be a bit abrasive about some of those takes. And it's just like, you haven't experienced to a certain level some of those things, you know? Like, I don't know, there may be things that you just disagree with, you don't see eye to eye with, and that's totally okay. But I can never sit there and invalidate how somebody sees a certain situation, because I don't know personally what they've been through to get to that mindset. You know what I'm saying? Watching that scene where we're seeing them pretty much rally up people, and we're seeing that reluctance and that resentment from the people of Zaun, the Zaunites. And then at the end, they come around and they're like, I guess we're doing this. For them to put on the uniforms of the people that have been oppressing them for generations, for years, it's emotional. It's emotional. And it hits. And if you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. Because that was one of the things for me where I wouldn't say I was like disappointed about it, but a part of me just wanted them to dive a little deeper into that Zaun Piltover conflict, because it was so heavy. It was so prevalent in season 1, you know? I don't think that's something that could just be resolved in one big kumbaya where it's like we team up reluctantly to save our home and now we understand. Like, no, there's going to have to be levels to this, because this is years, guys, of neglect. And because of your mistake, now we have to be the bigger person, and we have to be the one to get over this grudge and come and help you guys out and stand as one, as a unit. And that's hard. I feel like that's such a hard ask. And that's why when Scar and Savika walked out of the council, I felt that. I felt that deeply. But yeah, I don't want to say it wasn't even touched on, because I genuinely don't remember every single thing from episode 9, which is what we'll be getting into in our next episode. But um yeah, I don't know. I feel like I needed a little bit more with this whole Zaun and Piltover conflict. But with that being said, guys, that was a bit of a rant. Oh, I didn't even touch on Jinx and Vi. Jeez. You know what? I'll save that for episode 9 as well. I will say, to touch on Jinx briefly, Act 3, as someone who loves Jinx, she is my number one. I love Jinx. I've been saying that in damn near every Arcane video I've put out. Watching her in Act 3 was devastating. Not to be like super personal or super mushy about it, but as someone who has dealt with just like a deep depression, and you know, feeling that like if you weren't in the picture, life would be easier for everybody. Like her story just hit. It hit really hard. It sucks because from act 1 of season 1, like when I first started watching the show, I was always like, protect Powder at all costs, ha ha ha. But like my entire time watching this series, I have only wanted the best for Jinx. And she's so concerned with making sure Vi gets to live out her happy ever after. And Vi does deserve to be happy as well. But it's just like, Jinx, you deserve happiness as well. I feel like she's been punishing herself for so long, and it's just like, girl, I just want what's best for her in the end, you know? And just seeing her struggle with that and in that mindset is just, whew, it was rough. It is rough. But yeah. But yeah, this I love this show because it's been a long time since I've seen any form of media that just hit home so hard, you know, that opens the doors for these really deep and sometimes uncomfortable conversations. And with Arcane, it's just everything is there. The spectacle, I mean, amazing animation, amazing storytelling, amazing characters that just feel so real and so relatable. And I mean, like the music as well. I mean, everything about the show is crazy, but the just from having these conversations and these discussions with people, whether it's in my Discord, whether it's on YouTube, wherever I have these conversations, it's always just it blows me away, honestly, that you can pull so much from this. And I think that's one of the things that just makes the show so special. Cuz like I said, I hate talking politics. I hate talking politics, but for some reason with this show, I can do it. And it's interesting hearing different people's points of views, and not so much seeing where they stand, but kind of seeing like their worldview and their mindset based off of their upbringing or whatever the case may be. So, um, yeah, this show, I feel like people will be dissecting it for years to come. And although there were some things that I wish we would have got a little bit more out of, like, I feel like a lot of the pushback that the show is getting, a lot of it is truly unfair. Um, I have seen some very valid criticisms as well, but I've seen some people say like the ending was something like a Game of Thrones season 8, and it's like, stop. But yeah, guys, I don't want this video to be too long, so I am going to wrap this up, and we are going to save the really lengthy discussion and everything for episode 9. With that being said, guys, if you have made it to this point in the video, thank you so much for sticking around, checking the girl out. I know it's not as exciting not seeing my initial reaction and just seeing the rewatches, but for the people that have still stuck around, checked out the video, I appreciate you guys sincerely. So thank you so much for showing up. Now, as always, if there are other social media platforms that you like to check me out on, I will be posting mines right up here for you guys. So please go and check your girl out. And just a little reminder, guys, I'm currently working on building up my community. I've seen that a lot of people really like discussing the show, which is very prevalent in the comments. So if you guys do enjoy these really deep discussions, or they don't even have to be deep, if you just enjoy talking about the show, guys, I am building up the community. So come over, check out the Discord, guys, join the Discord and be a part of the community. I'd love to have you guys. Check that out if that's something that you're interested in. The link to my Discord will be in the bio below, as well as the link to my Patreon, where you guys can check out these full reactions for all of season 2 of Arcane. So go and check that out, guys. I also recently downloaded League, and everyone told me not to, but I was like, I have to form my own opinion. I'm one of those. So I recently downloaded League, and I've been playing that Jinx fixes everything minigame. So I've got that gameplay up as well. Only Act 1 and Act 2 as of today on the Patreon. So if that's something you want to check out as well, link in bio, guys. And as always, thank you so much for taking the time to check out the channel, to pop up. And I will be seeing you guys in the next episode, the finale, episode 9, the end of Arcane. And probably the most emotional for me. So I will see you guys in the next episode. Until then.